Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Alliance. Yes, this is the very second episode of the Blue Alliance, and yes, we are going to be joined by another Chelsea content creator. And of course, there's a lot of blue talks that we're doing. International break. Let's be real. International breaks. Let's see. Every kind of football is something that we follow. No two ways about it. But when it comes to club football, when it comes to Chelsea, it gives a different vibe. Everyone agrees. If everyone agrees, everyone, let's hit that like button. And yes, who all are there in the chat? Let's see. A lot of people have joined already. That's nice to see. Of course, Harsha here. That's great. Of course. And yes, of course, we can always hit that like button, become members and whatnot. Oscar in the house. Nice, nice. Let me talk as well. I see that. Let me talk. Nice to know that. Utkarsh, big up to Utkarsh. Of course, always the almighty goat here. Hardik in the house. Devendra, all good, all good. Devesh and Ramit and Believe as well. How are you? Let's be real. As much as Chelsea, we discuss about Chelsea, things like, this is a great season. Hopefully, it's even a better season than what we were expecting. And yes, the start isn't great, but the reality is that it's a good break. I think somewhere down the line, you must say that Chelsea have got a break at a good time. We'll be discussing what are the problems of Chelsea that we have faced with Pochettino, the Poch ball. Tactically, we'll be looking at that. Is Poch doing the right things by picking certain players? What should he do post international break? Now that the transfer window is over as well, somewhere down the line, it helps Poch to kind of determine who are his starters and who are not. Of course, we're looking at Bournemouth that we are playing on Sunday, and what is it that we need to do against Bournemouth in particular. So, everyone, we will be taking a chat. Big up to Mykhailo. Mykhailo, what's up? What's up, Mykhailo? Of course, our coach here, Enan in the house. Mayank, nice to know that. Absolutely. Nightbot, Pudin. Absolutely. It's done. It's done, Pudin. So, guys, we look at where did Chelsea actually go wrong. All of you, I would like you to comment in the chat. What are the main problems at Chelsea right now? What do you see as the problems? Yes, as things stand, won't like to discuss, but the fact is, we are 12th. It's just 4 game weeks. We are into the 5th game week. But yes, Poch ball, lot of changes. We've got what? 14, 15 incomings, 12, 13 departures. In fact, the other way around, definitely it would have taken time. But let's be real. Our fixtures weren't so difficult, if I'm being really, really blatantly honest about it, and we should have done better. If you look at these fixtures, yes, Liverpool was a test for sure, but it was at home. We know that Liverpool, somewhere down the line, we always get a draw. It's like water is wet, and Chelsea Liverpool is a draw. West Ham United Chelsea, now that was a shot in the arm for West Ham. We definitely did very well in that game in terms of the performance, but we get that we made individual errors and we lost that game, right? Of course, a big shock. Luton, one of the performances, rather the performance of the season right now from Chelsea. Wimbledon, we struggled, but eventually Enzo getting his first goal, that definitely helps. Of course, by the way, in the previous game, it was Nicholas Jackson getting his goal as well. But of course, the recent game, who can forget? Like the Nottingham Forest game, we don't even want to, remember that. And that was really the hard truth that we are still a work in progress. But everyone here, Shrey is in the house. We have a new member in the Blue Alliance, Shrey. Brother, how are you? How are you doing today?
I'm very good, Ankit. Hopefully, my connection is fine and well. So, I hope everyone is well in the chat, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Hopefully, Coachila brother joins soon, and I think this is something I've really loved and really happy to be with Almighty Blues FC Ankit bhai, and hopefully Coachila brother as well in the Chelsea community. So, it's very exciting, and hopefully, you all are having a great day.
Yes, absolutely. And yes, our friend here, big up to you, as in you are saying the truth. Pochettino still looks confused, and we'll come to the Bournemouth game, Shrey. And by the way, yes, Coachella, something came up, but definitely he'll be joining as soon as he can. And you know that always here, no matter what. And of course, Shrey is here as well. But Shrey, like Pochettino, like, do you think the blame is to be given to Pochettino, or do you think that you were anyway expecting a lot of changes were coming, and we would expect us to take some time, but there are some decisions that you have to question, right, in terms of the tactics of Poch ball, because we played one way during the entire preseason. I know preseason is preseason, but we played a different way. You can argue that the injuries did not help, but of course it looks like an excuse. But having 6, 7 injuries at a time, That's something that is Chelsea thing, right? So where do you pinpoint where has been the issue with, just as in what, 4 points as of now, which is like really bad, I know, but what do you think?
I think okay, it's like a mixture of like a lot of factors. Like, yeah, Poch has to take the blame because in preseason everything was going well. We were playing some great football, 4-2-3-1. But I think we have to cut a bit of slack to the manager because that injury was a massive one. That injury to Nkuku was like destruction of the system that we're trying to play. And I think along with that, being very honest, like a bit of blame, I will not say a lot of blame, but a bit of blame has to go to ownership also for the way of changes we are going, piling youngsters after youngsters after youngsters. And I think I'm not sure did I say it Ankit Bhai's channel or somewhere else, but I said that the squad is so young. Meduke, Mudryk, Nicholas Jackson, the team we have got right now is young. How can we straight away expect the boys to be becoming men straight away? And that is where the problem is. I think Pochettino is trying his best, to be honest, and I'm not really like not defending him. Yes, he should not be playing Chilwell left wing, but being very honest, Mudryk has right now not shown anything on the pitch where I can say, yeah, the manager is wrong to drop him. Like, he should be playing. Mudryk has looked very raw. Like, you will say, Ankit Bhai, the most raw player in the team right now, he's not looking at the same level. You go towards Marksen, and is it off the field factors where the board is saying him to not play Marksen? The reports are coming up that Marksen, they refuse to go away to Burnley. Chalobah refused to go away to Nottingham Forest. So the club are punishing him now. Again, this is not a reliable source, but the news are coming. So could that be the reason? So what is the reason Poch is not playing him? So along with that, we don't even have a proper left wing option. And this is where I was like not happy when Pulisic was let go. I thought Christian Pulisic could have been given a chance in the Poch. He's a nice player. And I think we just kept on letting players go for the money, but we did not realize our squad has no experience. So Poch has to take the blame. But along with that, if you're expecting the Rome to straight away turn into success and the building to be ready straight away, I think that's not happening.
You know what? You hit the nail on the head. Again, a few, of our brothers in the chat definitely commenting as well here. Mikhail is like all for Poch to lead us to success, but Poch's team selection, formation, in-game tactics have all been problematic. Mikhail, my brother, you know it. We always discuss it, and I know that somewhere down the line he pinpoints to those problems, and I think he's kind of hit the nail on that as well. Perhaps behind the scenes justifications for it all, but as fans, a bit meh, and that's a fact because as in till what time can we be patient? Of course we need to be patient. It's a new regime, it's a new entire, like, come on. And one thing again, John Terry, JT, as an our man JT, is actually come out and said that is going to take time. Have trust. Of course, the Legends match is something that showed us we can still do with the John Obi Mikel guys. We can still do with the Michael Essien even now. But jokes apart, I think the fact being that there are a lot of work in progress when it comes to the team, and while we are trying to fix them, we as fans we need to be patient, but at the same time do not back out in terms of voicing our opinion, and that's what we are trying to do here. Because somewhere down the line, let's be real, Mr. Todd Burley and our Mr. Todd Burley is there on social media, so you never know, it might just be useful for sure. And sometimes little things that say a coaching staff might get a word and they might use, who knows. Ramit is like all the metrics and stats show that we have been better from last season, but breaking the low block and finishing has been our nemesis. Poch also has been questionable with his starting picks. You know what, Ramit? While I'm going to be backing that with some data, Zed with another comment here. Again, big up to Zed and everyone here. By the way, everyone here, big up to Chelsea perspective. Of course, Coachila, my brother, will be joining, as soon as it's possible. But Shrey FC as well, let's back him. And of course, the Blue Alliance is a new collab that we are starting with all the Chelsea brothers and sisters. So hopefully, we'll have it even more growing with all your help. So for that, you'll have to hit that like button. For certainly helps. But I've got some stats here, and as in, I know there is also a lot of criticism. We'll come to the Mudryk conversation, but I think there's a conversation to be made about Nicholas Jackson. How many of you here agree that Nicholas Jackson has what it takes to go to the right to the very top? Or you think no, it's too soon, it's definitely not on. He almost looks very raw in terms of finishing. We need not only a Broya, but we probably needed an Nkunku to be fit and competing for the striker spot. But actually, these stats might say otherwise. And these are some shocking stats, guys, but these are actually real. Check out this Nicholas Jackson's movement. First in the number of runs, attacking runs challenging backline. Remember, that is something that our pass forwards did not do, with all due respect to Kai Havertz. Of course, Timo Werner did back in the day, right? But again, Giroud wasn't known for doing that. Runs targeted by pass, total distance of runs is 3.7 kilometers, which is the first. Now, Shrey, Nicholas Jackson. Now, I know you can argue that because Nkunku is not fit, he maybe is not clicking as much. He needs Carney also, who's also missing. Remember that, people. But even in preseason, it wasn't Nkunku and Jackson linking up. To be very honest, Nkunku was better off on the left channel, and Nicholas Jackson had a better link up with say Carney. But even a Carney, he scored one goal, and you can argue that he's not a finisher either, right? So, are we going to be discussing here that no, it's Cole Palmer is the answer, or you think that no, Nicholas Jackson will come good? What is your belief right now? Where do you stand?
I remember like Nicholas Jackson for me has been like a very good performer for us. Like in my channel also when I was watching watch alongs, I was saying to people that let's not put the pressure on the guy to score 15 goals, 20 goals, 25 goals. A bit of problem in the fan base was that, see, let's be honest, Chelsea fans have been deprived of a very good striker since you can say Diego Costa. Like Tammy Abraham has been the only decent striker you can say after Diego Costa, Morata, Lukaku, Higuain. He has been the only striker which has consistently performed, Tammy Abraham, and even that was not at the level that we require. So, see, being very, very honest, I think fans watching that goals, I think we just somewhat get ahead of ourselves. Some were thinking 20 goals, 15 goals, 25 goals. And I was saying, calm down. I think if the guy can even score 12, 13 and assist 8 to 9, I think it's a decent season. His first season in the Premier League is coming from Villarreal. Like, he wasn't even a very regular player of Villarreal. Like, he has just come with just 1 year experience. He's not a very experienced pro. We need to give him time. Ankit, what I've liked of Nicholas Jackson has been the way he's been linking up, his hold-up play, the way he's been like making good touches, and the way he's getting in the line. So he's not performing bad. Now, problem in a fan base is that we get very reactionary. The problem in a fan base is that if he scores a goal, he's a world beater. If he, like, for example, say doesn't score a goal, he's bad. I think Nicholas Jackson has so far in 4 matches shown us he's the better striker we've had since recent time, the hold-up play. And I've been telling it for a long time that why can't we play this guy inside forward? If we don't have Nkunku right now, why not play Nicholas Jackson at the left and bring Broha up top? Now, Broha might be fit after, you can say, Bournemouth game. So why not bring a physical striker and put Nicholas Jackson left? Because this guy is a very good player. He can hold a play. He can dribble past 2-3 players. But the problem is he does not have the clear instinct right now, which is understandable. But the problem is for Nicholas Jackson and the team is he has no player to look up to. Raheem Sterling has all the responsibility. Mudryk is young. You can say Chilwell is not very goal scoring. So he does not have the shoulder to look to. And that's where for me, Ankit Bhai is not going well. For me, he'll come really, really good. He's a fantastic striker, a very good player with the ball. But I think we need to understand the guy is so young right now, inexperienced. If he has a good season, if he has a bad season, that's not the end of it. He has such a big career ahead of him. And I think Ankit Bhai, either Broha or either Raheem Sterling and someone else in a team needs to take responsibility. If we put all the pressure on this guy that you are going to give us 25, 30 goals, it's not going to work.
I think goals are key, and you hit the nail on the head again because again our friend is commenting on Jackson is not bad. I still have hope in him. Even Drogba was missing chances at the start before he evolved to be deadly striker. Yes, people, as much as we love and we kind of almost worship Didier Drogba today, and I will not lie here, sitting here and again, Coachila brother knows as well. We have discussed, Mykhailo in the chat as well. A lot of us have had discussions. I remember that very first season of Drogba, and I know, of course, we are talking back in the day. Jose Mourinho got him, get me, pay, don't speak, and we all remember that, right? And it worked. Of course, he's a legend. But the reality is, when he came from Marseille, I remember the very first season. There was again, I should look at newspapers, and there used to be articles during that time where Drogba actually at times said that I liked it better at Marseille. There were controversial moments, and not just that, even in the pitch. Drogba was known to fall off too easily compared to what he kind of has the physical ability. So there were frustrating matches for sure. I'm not going to say here that Drogba was like hit the block running from the get go. No, but at the same time we have to also realize we cannot just expect Nicholas Jackson to be a Didier Drogba because everyone does not turn out to be that. Yes, Nicholas Jackson has some very good things. I think 2-3 things that I genuinely believe is, like Ramesh is saying, too soon to judge. Apart from his actions in the box, everything is very promising. I think there are 2 things that I still believe that there is a lot to be worked on. Yes, I love his runs. I love his energy. I love his commitment. Definitely the fact that he's actually not too bad dribbling. He can run channels. He, has a good ability to kind of drop back, link up. Problem here is, I think ball retention when it comes to back to goal. Of course, Drogba had that physicality to be able to do that against defenders. I think the number one problem though is the heading ability. Now, what we're doing is as a team is, again, all of us have seen When the crosses came low, was it against Luton Town? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. When the crosses came low, we scored easily. Wimbledon, Luton Town, and that is something that we do easily when we are able to find the striker. Now the problem is we do not have that guy sitting behind Nicholas Jackson who's there now because Carney is not there. We are having Enzo there, maybe Gallagher there, and as much as they are very good footballers on that day, yes, definitely in terms of Enzo, we all know that we'll see numbers there also, but they are not your so-called number 10 or second striker really, right? And that is where I think is missing someone. On the other hand, if you're not putting low crosses, he's not too good in the heading ability, and that's where the left wing comes in. And I'm seeing some comments here already when I'm talking about the problems. I think one problem has to be this, tactically, let's be real, Shrey, pretty sure Darren what he's saying is absolutely bang on. I'm not going to agree with the support part, Darren. I know that that's a sarcasm, but definitely what he means to say that how can we continue as Chilwell as the left wing, because again Alonso defensively not too good, but we all know that he had that ability to get in the box and even be a lethal header of the ball. So who's that person on the left wing for you? As in, the fact is Nkunku is out, Chilwell is not too good. You can argue Mudryk will come to, but he's low on confidence. He's not a header anyway. So who's that guy who's going to play left wing? Definitely not Martin is known for that either.
I think that's where the problem for us right now lies, and I have a bit of sympathy for the manager as well because he did try this in preseason as well. Like in preseason, Martin was the one playing left wing. Now again, I think if again nobody knows a report why Martin is not playing, does the manager think he's not good enough, or is it something going behind the scene? But for me, see, Martin is the best choice for me to go. If the manager does not trust Mudryk defensive work, then go with Martin. Martin can really do the good job. I know Sterling can be on the left side, but for me, the only problem with Sterling on the left is that why are we doing something that's not broken? Sterling has been killing it from the right side right now in the league for the 4 matches. And I see Palmer being an ideal number 10 right now. See, Lavia's injury has damaged us more than we can realize. When Lavia was fit, I thought we can play 4-3-3, Enzo Caicedo, Lavia, and play Sterling at the left and Palmer at the right. Let's be defensively strong. But right now we have no Lavia and he could be out for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Nobody knows that. And again, that's where the problem lies. And I think we need to play 4-2-3-1. And I think if we have to play 4-2-3-1, I think we need a number 10. Conor Gallagher is not a number 10. Enzo Fernandez is not a number 10. And I'm irritated to see Conor Gallagher playing as a DM. Either you play Conor Gallagher front or you don't play him. I don't want to see Conor Gallagher as a hold-up midfielder. And I think Enzo has to be deeper in the midfield to help Thiago Silva or Olivier Colville or Baria Shele. So for me, Palmer has to be the number 10. And I think Sterling is killing from the right. Why change something which is not broken? And I think Martin is the best choice for me, Ankit. Why? Because the problem is that Mudryk right now doesn't look ready. He's the ideal choice, but the boy does not look ready. And I don't want to be putting in more pressure. If he starts and misses another chance, the whole media will be on him. And I don't want the kid to face that, especially what's going in his country as well, which I won't say, but he's not going well. And I think that's the problem with him. I think Martin is the ideal choice. But on the last, I will say, I think Martin will give us width. Martin will provide us a bit of left foot from the left side, which can sometimes really help you. But again, I will just say, someone needs to ask the manager in the press conference that why Martin is not starting. Is it behind the field? The board is saying him to not play Martin, or does he really think that Martin is not good enough?
Exactly, that's a good point, because all we will be discussing about Mudryk, Enzo, even Chaloba, the stories which have come this week. By the way, there are some positive things also. So we're not going to be discussing the Blue Alliance, only the negative things, guys. Definitely, there are a lot of positive things before we get to the Bournemouth game preview. Exactly. But Ramit is saying that the only justification to this Chilwell left wing farce is that the runs by Chile make space for Enzo in the left half space, from where his delivery is immaculate. Great point. It's almost like a Tony Cruz way of seeing football. And again, Tony Cruz eventually is doing that at Real Madrid when he's not having the legs. Not that he uses his legs much compared to what he is using now, but that creative source from the left is needed. I agree. And I think one man that we are missing, I know somewhere down the line we used to criticize him and we don't want to go back to the past. But one man I know, he was not known for passing over the top as much, but those low drill passes, and carrying forward the ball. A Mateo Kovacic kind of a person, right? Someone who's a runner. Then what happens if you have a runner who gets into the box or closer to the box? You can have your left wing or left back kind of drop back, and they become the creative source. But the fact is, Chilwell himself, likes to be doing that, or is told to do that. And Enzo's natural ability is not to kind of carry forward as much as the brilliant passer. I think it's better off what Ramit is explaining, and that's very very understandable. Great comment, this Ramit, by the way. Nathan in the house, hello, what's up, what's up? Manav in the house as well. Madueke was so frustrating. You know what? I have a left field call here. Everyone watching, do let me know. Is it time to panic? Because yes, it's just 4 game weeks. Yes, it's a new manager. Yes, we have changed a lot, Shrey. But if you really say, like Shrey said, in case the manager, for whatever reason, despite the good preseason, is not convinced with Martsen being a future left wing, at least till the time Mudryk is ready or Nkunku is coming back from injury. How about, because of the fact that Madueke has a height, and we just spoke about the height factor, about the heading ability in the far post, Sterling is doing better on the right wing than the left wing. Correct me if wrong, Shrey. Malab, would you try? Just give a try in between matches. Like, I know I'm not going to compare, but the days of a Duff and Robin where they used to shift, flanks. Why don't we even try? The point being that we are not giving Mudryk starts, we are not even trying that, and Martin is not coming. But Madueke has that height factor and the physicality factor. If he's not able to get people on one on the right hand side, would you like to try this out as well on the left hand side?
I think for me, I don't know okay, why I don't think Madueke will work. I think the characteristic he's got, I just think he won't work at the left side right now, where you will need to be a bit more wider. I think Madueke loves to come a bit inside, and I think that's where it could be trouble. I've always thought, Ankit bhai, that Nico Jackson can be our left winger, and I think till Nkunku comes back, why not play Broha up top and Nicholas Jackson at the left side? I think that could work really well. Nico Jackson can cut
That's a great
inside
call.
and give a space to the left back and make good combination. And Armando Broja can be a physical striker in the box who might have, like, let's be honest, in the Premier League, he scored like 13 to 14 goals for Southampton. So he has that experience and the knack, Armando Broja, to score the goals. So I think that could really work well because with Madueke, I think Madueke loves to cut inside, but I think if your left finger is cutting too much inside and not providing a bit of width, which I think a left footer might struggle to do that, I think that's where a bit of problem can be. Leroy Sané worked very well at Manchester City because he used to provide a width to Manchester City's attack. I think right now, why Madueke won't work is I think Madueke and Sterling will keep putting cross after cross into the box. But I think if we don't have the clinical striker, there's no benefit for that. But if we have two players of clinical instinct like Broha, Jackson, trying to get on the end of the crosses, I think that could work better because I think that could really, really work better for us having Jackson and Broha both taking on the mental for scoring goals. I think that could really work well for us, Ankit Bhai. And I think that could be something that the manager must try. But again, Ankit Bhai, we don't know what really going on in the manager's mind, and nobody in the press really asks the question we need. So that's a big problem in the press conferences.
You know what, everyone? Let's have big up Shrey in the chat. Everyone, a great call. And I know Ramit also agrees, and I think it's a great call. Only problem is, again, it's like I'm being pessimistic. You must say that I want to be starting positive after the international break. It can only get better. Let's be real. But Broya, now that's the thing. We'll come to the starting 11 against Bournemouth and whatnot. Broya, for me, may not be match fit. And that's the thing in terms of playing 90 minutes. I'll be even surprised if he plays anything more than half an hour at best, this weekend or next weekend. I hear that he might actually not be ready. It might be Badiashile is still a little bit ahead of Broya in terms of, where they are in terms of the recovery. But I see that eventually this can be an option. Along with this, Nkunku playing from the left, making some runs as Chile and occupying the same space, which elevates our finishing. I agree with this because if he plays in behind Jackson, that space is kind of, very clogged. And I feel that Nkunku needs that space in front of him a little bit compared to maybe, say a Carney. So I think Carney coming back makes sense there. Absolutely. But I think there are some brilliant things happening already, guys. That we're discussing here, but no, it's the same channels. Who cares? Great to see you. It's a collaboration between Chelsea brothers and sisters, of course, starting off with Coachila, myself, Ankit, and Shrey. The Blue Alliance is what we call ourselves. Of course, this is the start of things to come. Hopefully, you back us for sure. Again, you can check out the links below in the description for in case you want to follow any one of us. Ashish in the house as well. Also, drop Colville sometimes. He's so calm and relaxed. He should try to do some dirty work like Rudiger, technical fouls, and so on. You know what? There is. By the way, I'll just update this. Coach is just in the middle of something. He got something of an emergency, but he's definitely there in the background, guys. Coach is always here, no matter what. But coming back to the point of Pudin, Colville. Now again, we have discussed about Chilwell, we have discussed about Madueke, Sterling, and whatnot. But Colville playing that left back role. Now the fact is, and I'd put a poll earlier in the day, and I'd asked, the fact is Disasi was almost like on an emergency asked to play centre back because of the fact that Nkunku was injured and Chilwell was asked to play left wing, and that's why Colby played left back. And yes, guys, for all we know, we kind of play four at the back with a flat four, with Gusto being in place of Reece James for now. What do you think, Shrey? As in Colwell, definitely we all agree that he should play centre back. But now that Badiashile will be fit, right? The problem is also that crossing, dealing with the crosses, even attacking the crosses, attacking, say, the set pieces. I think Badiashile has my vote for me, if I'm being very honest. As much as Colwell is a beautiful passer of the ball. What do you think?
I think I've been thinking for a long time, Ankit bhai, and I love Thiago Silva to absolute bits. Like, I absolutely love Thiago Silva, and
Oh.
it really makes me sad and disappointed. But I think I'm just being very honest, Ankit bhai. I think it's time to play both left-footed centre backs, because I think, Ankit bhai, the football that the manager is trying to play, high pressing football. I think we need a bit of two centre backs who can really back each other well. I think the problem is right now that I think if we try to play high pressing football with just Enzo and Caicedo, where Enzo will be just high up the field, I think that can be a problem for us. I love Thiago Silva to absolute bits. Like, he is a legend and I love him to bits. I really, really love him to bits. But my only problem is that I think the pace is not there sometimes. And I think it's sad to say me, but I think in the Nottingham Forest match, Thiago Silva could have done better for me in that goal. Yes, Colville should have recovered well, but I think Thiago Silva was easily nutbag where he should have committed for me. I love Thiago Silva. I love him to bits. But my only thing is that I think it's time to start a two new centre backs for the future. And I don't agree with this myth that two left-foot centre backs can't play together. They can. And I think it's time to play both of them, groom them together. And along with Thiago Silva, provide them the experience. Disasi for me is not ready. Love him to bits, but he's not ready. And I think it's time to play the two players if you really want to play high pressing system. I think for me, if you want to play Thiago Silva, just like make your team go a bit low, a bit back. Because I think if you are playing high pressing offside trap, I think the recovery runs are going to be a problem. I love Thiago Silva, but I would love to see one match where Badiashile and Colville can play together.
Badiashile and Colwell, now two left-footed centre backs. We all always debate that why we have two right-footed centre backs. How can we have two left-footed centre backs? Probably Shrey has a point. I think Spain, was it Spain that proved us wrong there? I think in the Euros they played with Laporte and who was it? Pau Torres. I remember that they played and they played quite well. But I think here the point about Hardik is about the Monaco duo, the partnership between Badiashile and Disasi. Maybe the fact that they read each other better compared to maybe a Thiago Silva or maybe a Colwell. Maybe this is also something that we should consider, because anyway, if you are seeing as Disasi as a real future, as much as I personally would like to see even Chaloba get some chances. The reality is that I might see this happen, because if we do not play the Monaco duo together, then what is the whole point about getting them together if we are able to do that? So I think chemistry is a key, and especially the back line. And the fact is, they are both, as in you can argue that they're both physical enough in terms of height, etc. Right? That's how it is. But be ready for the same backline against Bournemouth. Ramit is saying. Okay, let's come to that. But before we get to the Bournemouth game, guys, again, remember we have actually, finally, we are ready with our Premier League squad. So, guys, as in, again, I know transfer window is done. It's been a couple of weeks, but now the international break is over. Are we happy? Are we content with this particular squad here that you're seeing? I think, what are the holes, Shrey? If you have to pick certain holes, apart from the experience factor, which you can argue definitely in attack, what are the holes, if any, that you would like to say?
I mean, Ankit bhai, see the squad. I think, Ankit bhai, to be really honest, like, I think right now, if we can go to holes in the team, I think the holes are everywhere, and I think that's the way it really goes. I think for me, it's about time to give the patience to this team and allow them to develop and reach the right level for me. Because, see, for me, it's about just patience with the team right now. I think as fans, we need to show them the calmness, the love, and the understanding, and give them the time. I think right now, even if we get angry, I think sacking is not going to work. I think being rash and straight away asking for wins is not going to work. We might beat Bournemouth, but then we have Aston Villa at home, where they're a good counter-attacking team under Unai Emery. We might lose, we might win. It hurts me to say this, but I think we have to understand the level we are at right now as a club. And I think we have to understand that the squad has a lot of holes, but I'm very confident of the future, Ankit bhai. I think in the future, this team can dominate the Premier League, and I really believe in future we can even win Premier League title. But for that, Poch has to really groom these youngsters, make them the men, not the boys. And I think as fans, we need to give them the time to be the boys. The toxicity, the negativity is not going to help. I think, to be really honest, if we straight away start saying Jackson is not good enough, Jackson is this, Jackson is that, Mudryk is a shite signing in that way. So I think that's not going to work. Let's back the boy. Let's back Mudryk and give him at least a year before we make an assessment on him. Give Jackson minimum 2 years. Give players like Disasi and even Caicedo 2 years, and a team will be at very good level for me, Ankit. But I'm very calm. I just don't want to be out of top 8. I think if that's the case, then that's unacceptable. But I think we need to remain in the top 7, play the Conference League football minimum, and I think develop as it goes. See, rivals are going to put the pressure always, because if you spend 1 billion, but spending 1 billion doesn't mean you're straight away going to win things. And I think we are making something for the future. It's about time to be patient and giving the team the time to reach the position.
No, I hear you absolutely there. And what happened to Chalaba? What is his pecking order number, right? See, that's a painful thing. I know that there were a couple of posts made during the week as well, and I think Fabricio has confirmed that Chaloba will be still decided upon whether we're going to play him or not. But there are reports saying that we may not, and he may not go in January. Yes, Chelsea are open to letting him go in January. That's a reality. Now, as things stand, Disasi has not convinced us enough, absolutely, here right now. But I can still see, I've been saying the last couple of weeks as well, Shrey, you know it. Everyone, there is a connect between Disasi, Enzo, Sterling, Nicholas Jackson. I think there's a path that we can see in between the lines passing that Disasi has, compared to, with all due respect, say a Chaloba. Chaloba has a good long pass in him. I'm not saying no, but at times that you can feel that Disasi is just a little bit more sensible. Yes, defensively, but there are issues for sure. But I have to give a quick shout out here to Shrey. Shrey, thanks a lot for coming. Of course, our blue brother in the house, people do give a follow to Shrey FC as well. But then let's give a shout out to United 58 as well, who's designed part of the background. And of course, our brother Coachila is is here for people wondering where is he. But Shrey, thanks a lot, bro. Your
Yeah,
last words, please.
apologies. I had to take care of something, and I did explain to you. And thank you for understanding. And I appreciate Shea, who will in the future
Thank
be part of the whole process. We're just trying to get it going and make sure it's working properly. Shea, I can't thank you enough. Much love for all the support. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. It's an absolute pleasure. Wishing you two the best. Really pleasure. And thank you so much to have me on this platform. Guys, do hit the like and subscribe. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Big up. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Much love. I appreciate
See
you,
you soon.
brother.
See you soon. Up the charts, no matter what. So, guys, we will continue. Of course, Coachila in the house. So, Coachila, what have you been up to in the international break? You think we needed this break, didn't we? As Chelsea fans.
I think we do, but at the same time, if we're being honest, the international break doesn't favor us. We have too many international players, players who
True.
represent their countries, again, in international level. And once there's an international break, it means if we had a good momentum, it becomes an issue. If we had a bad momentum, if we had a bad run of games, then we'll be hopeful when they come back, or maybe that the manager will have enough time to find a solution to the issue we're having. But in this case, it's actually the international break creates more problem than a solution for us. We had an issue before the international break. We all believe we do. If the manager is going to solve the problem, then he has to have those players available to him during that 2 weeks duration. But unfortunately, in our case, because we're Chelsea, those players all had to travel to represent their countries internationally, which creates a problem for us rather than you can say the time for the manager to solve the problem. Yeah,
Right.
so I don't really see it like that. I didn't think we need the break. We would have been better off without the break, so that the manager can have the players available to him
Yeah,
to
I
try to
think the
solve
key
it.
is to
Yeah.
score goals and to get a win, under the belt again. Because as much as Wimbledon and Luton Town were victories, let's be real, as in that would have been the absolute minimum for us to expect that. And now it's Bournemouth. I know people in the past, if you remember, Bournemouth used to be a bogey team back in the day of Saris and the Contes and even the Mourinho's, right? We all remember Bournemouth used to be a bogey team, but let's be real. Yes, of course we are work in progress, Coachila. Bournemouth is one rare team that we got a double last season, and we are Chelsea Football Club. We are talking like this, and that's the reality of it. Lampard, one of the rarest wins that he got in the second stint was against Bournemouth, and I remember Conor Gallagher scored, if I'm not wrong. Joao Felix scored as well, and I think if I'm not wrong, Badiashile scored as well. So, how do you see Bournemouth challenge? It's an away game after the international break. Like you said, Coachila, we have too many internationals out there. I know Enzo had a good international break. Cole Palmer had a good international break. I believe Madueke had a good one as well. A lot of Caicedo playing against Messi and
Hmm.
whatnot. But are we ready to kind of just continue with where we left in terms of the starting 11? Do you think no? This is probably the right time to probably give Martsen that break that he deserves.
I think there will be changes. There will be changes. That is in my opinion. I do believe there will be change. The manager will make some changes. That's because Leslie. Let's see who didn't travel. Let me just try and be objective here, not just you could say anything that comes to my mind. Leslie Ukachukwu had to travel too. He traveled for France's under 21. Malagusto did travel also. So it's hard to tell who comes in for who. So probably we might end up seeing the same team we saw the last time we played. That's because nearly all the starting players did travel. Only Matson, I think he did travel too. He got a call up from the Dutch
Yeah,
national team,
Martin got a
didn't he?
call up exactly. He did,
Yeah. So
but I believe Thiago Silva wasn't there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Thiago
Right?
Silva certainly starts. So that's what I'm saying. Even it doesn't look like we'll see any sort of change at all. Maybe a change in structure. Maybe I'm not too sure. A change in structure just because we have probably there's a chance Maluk what's his name Badia Shila will be ready to play, and also what's his name the Serbian international Amanda Broya. There's a chance he's ready to play. Maybe I'm not too sure what's going to happen really, but I don't expect to see too many changes anyway. I think I was wrong to maybe think there will be changes. Certainly, I can't say I'm certain for sure of right now.
I know
Because
one place where there will be a change. I'm pretty sure everyone is excited to actually exactly see that at least. And I
Mhm.
think that is basically this. Comments on the kid, guys. Coachila
Oh yeah,
definitely rings a bell. Rings a bell. As in, it reminds me of that Giuliano Belletti goal. I remember that he scored. I know that was a little bit fluorescent, but back in the day, I think I remember that goal. But I'm pretty sure this will kind of get the crowd up, the away crowd as well as the team. But one guy that stands out, man, Mudryk. Now, the Mudryk situation, I know it's kind of gotten bad to worse with nothing. But the reality is that Mudryk he's got himself to blame as well, because things about him working out a bit too much, things about him kind of trying a bit too much. Do you think it has come because of Poch not giving him enough chances? Because at least for Ukraine he was always good, but even for Ukraine in the break there have been question marks. So where do you see Mudryk stands in this particular weekend fixture?
he has a chance. I recall people were concerned during was that a friendly? I can't quite remember. I wasn't paying attention. People were concerned that he got injured, but it turns out he was fine.
Yeah,
Here's the
he's
thing.
fine.
I just leave it at he has a chance, but I think even if Modric, if you see it as if Modric, if you deem again, if you look at Modric's situation and you think he's struggling, I think I blame the managers we've had. Um, I blame the managers we've had. I don't think we've handled his start to life at Chelsea very well. I think there were mistakes here and there. There were times where he showed good form, where the manager should have the managers at the time should have followed it up with a subsequent game time. You can say
Mhm.
players when they show confidence, you have to show them you trust them, and then the rest will be history. But in our case, he's shown confidence. He's shown what he's capable. We've seen flashes of what he's capable of doing here and there. Then when we expect him to start the next game, the manager ends up dropping him to the bench. For instance, on the even Mauricio Pochettino, I expected him to start against Liverpool. Well,
Exactly, the very
even
first game, right?
yeah,
And especially the game that he did very well last season, to be
yeah,
honest,
exactly.
his
Even the
debut.
common fan, if you ask the common fan, there will always be spaces in behind the Liverpool defense for a
Exactly,
player
Trent.
such as Mudryk to exploit. The reason why he didn't start that game, I just cannot tell. That would have been the perfect game for him to kickstart his season, and he's to show what he's capable of doing. Because the truth remains, that's a good player in him, and he's a player I followed during his days at Shakhtar Donetsk. I didn't just follow him because we wanted to sign him. I knew him before, not as a person, but as a footballer, even before he
He
joined
had a
us.
good Champions League last season, and I'm not even overrating him. As in, he
He
actually
scored
had a
three
good
goals.
Champions League.
I think he scored 3 goals in the Champions League before he joined us, and I think he's still our top scorer. I get it. The 3 goals were scored for Shakhtar,
Actually,
not for Chelsea.
yeah.
But for me, I'm going to just repeat myself again. We did not handle his, you could say, Mudryk started life at Chelsea. I think, if anything, we did stuff that will actually not help him in confidence wise. But go ahead. Sorry for, you could say,
No,
going on
definitely. I
from
think the chat is also
Bobby.
kind of hitting the same lines because, like Gaurav says, Poch started Mudryk in preseason and played him, but didn't do in season, and that's where the confidence lies for sure, 100%. Mudryk has played 900 minutes in over 20 plus matches, and again, those 900 minutes are very kind of spilled. They're distributed. It's not like he's played like at to go 75 minutes in matches.
Mm.
It's like basically 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that's the problem, right? Mikhail is asking in Coachila's view what defines a player has reached match fitness after a serious injury layoff.
Here's the thing, you know quite well I'm not a doctor, but
Mikhail, man.
yeah,
Mikhail
I
OP,
think he
man.
just wants to
Mikhail,
pull
big
my
up.
leg. Well, here's the thing, it's up to the what's the term? What's the term I'm looking for here? The medical team to assess the
Yeah.
player's fitness, his
Yeah,
readiness
basically,
to
yeah,
start the game.
Eva Carnero. Get Eva Carnero back.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a question for Eva Canera and not Coachila. And here's the thing, but more importantly, after the recovery, there's also match fitness. You don't get that during training sessions because the match atmosphere is different. You have to get minutes here and there to be fully ready to start and finish a game. Yeah, you being ready to play. That's a different thing altogether. But match fitness is a different thing altogether. And you get match fitness by playing in a football match proper, not a training match and all that. I think the atmosphere is different, in my opinion.
I get that absolutely. Okay. Is Broya injured again? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Is there more news
No, I
coming
don't
in?
think so. I think I no, I don't think so. I think he's, if anything,
Come on.
everything I've seen on Twitter points to him being ready after the international break, which is yeah, a few days on Sunday. He should be
Yeah.
ready to play on Sunday, according to rumors. There's no way to confirm that. If everything comes down to the manager.
I think at least he should be on the bench, I believe, because we need him. We need basically the impact of the bench.
Mm,
But again, Cole Palmer, I know that he lacked game time in its City, and that's one of the reasons why you paid big bucks for Cole Palmer, a
mm,
secret signing. But he had an impact. Let's be real, the other day against Nottingham Forest. At
mm.
the same time, he's not had many training sessions with Chelsea. Guys, would you give a start again to Caicedo, who's been playing for Ecuador in South America, or would you actually have Gallagher, Enzo, and maybe give Palmer that number 10 role? What would be your midfield? And again, we'll come to the exact 11, Coachila. But is Palmer the answer right away, or he's too young for us to not give him those training sessions and then get him in?
In terms of what position are you talking about?
Yeah. Firstly, if he's even ready to start, because he's not had many training sessions with Chelsea, even, right? Cole Palmer. Because after the window, we literally had that game, and that's it. There was the international break, and then now he's back. So, will you actually start Cole Palmer, or would you actually say that no, let him come off the bench because we don't have many players off the bench of the impact? Because let's be real, we have a lot of injuries, and we'll
I
come to
would
the
start him.
yeah, you start him.
I would start Cole Palmer. Here's the thing. I get it. People, you see people argue that would be better of starting Enzo Fernandez in a more in an advanced role. They'd rather do that and then play two more defensive midfield. Here's where I'm concerned. If we're gonna go with the three at the back structure and
Mhm.
still play with two sixes, to me in total we have you can say 7 defensive minded players in total. So
Good point.
it wouldn't make sense. Yeah. So I think we need creativity. If we can if we're gonna accommodate Enzo, I get it, Enzo can create chances, but Enzo is more effective when he operates in a different, you could say when he starts in a deeper position. He needs to
Yeah,
see the pitch better to be
yeah.
more
He needs
effective.
space in front of him to kind of
Exactly. He needs that
envisage
space. He
that.
needs to see the pitch to be more effective. If you play him in a more advanced role, then I don't think he'd be as effective. And you could say, I think, well, you could say if you paid attention to what happened during a game against Nottingham Forest, he was more effective in the second half, and that's because he dropped deeper. But the only difference is that to make him more that effective, you just have to give him allow him the independence to be more adventurous on the pitch, to roam around, to go wherever you can say he feels he deems fit to be at any particular point in time. But playing him in a more advanced role, such as the 10 position, I think he gets a bit confused. And as good as he is, he's not the best in terms of beating the press. He needs a space to be as effective as I believe he can be. So I'd say, yeah, we have to start Palmer because we
You have
lack
to start
creativity
Palmer.
in that area. Yeah, in the attacking, we lack creativity, and he brings that. Believe me, and I think he can fulfill the 10 room for us. But that's just my opinion. A lot of people might, well, you can say there's a chance a lot of people think otherwise, but I think we need Palmer to start. Enzo
Yeah,
to start in a
exactly.
deeper position, but with the like I said, with the freedom to be wherever he wants to be on the pitch. But you go ahead, brother.
Okay, big up to Ibrahim here in the house. We have discussed it already, but we'll come to the lineup exactly, which we're actually just about starting. D Prince, great to see you as well. Big up to Chelsea family, of course. Predator Gaming here in the house. Ramit, and I can see a couple of say neutral fans or opposition fans here, which is great to see because we'd love
Mhm.
to see their point of view as well. Ramit is going with Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer, Enzo in the left half space, and Palmer in the right as creative outlets. But again,
Just go ahead,
remember,
give me 1 minute. I'll be back in one
yeah,
second.
again,
Go ahead.
yeah, sure. I'm just taking a few comments. Ramit, I hear you about Palmer in the right. Problem here is because of the fact that we do not have that number 10 or link up with Nicholas Jackson. We might actually use two left footers here. In my personal opinion, Madueke and Palmer are no brainer. But again, we'll come to the exact lineup. You know what? Let's actually begin that. Let's create a lineup for Bournemouth. And remember, Bournemouth have an ex Chelsea man. Dominic Solanke is there. And yes, Tyler Adams is also there, but Tyler Adams is right now injured. He's not an ex Chelsea man, but we all know what happened to Tyler Adams. Feel sorry for that, what happened, but remember, we want a Romeo Lavia, who apparently is injured right now. But they play a 4-2-3-1, and I'm pretty sure, as much as we would love to see a typical 4-3-3 or maybe, something totally attacking, this is how we're going to begin. People, let's start from goal. Pretty sure while Petrovic will get his chance, it'll be unfair to not give Sanchez another couple of chances and then see. I know there are question marks on Sanchez. He had one good game, mind you. He had one good game for sure. But overall, I think I have question marks in my opinion. But it will be too early for us to say no to Sanchez because I think he's had more training sessions compared to Petrovic with the others, right? And simple as that. If anyone disagrees, feel free to let us know in the chat. Here we are just rebuilding the team, or rather, while Coachila joins us, and you can see the beautiful setup of Coachila there as well. At left back, guys, left back. Now, this is a big question, the biggest question of all, because Colwell has been playing there. Now, me and Shred is agreed the fact that Colwell, it's time that we do not start him there and we give Martin a chance somewhere, either left back or left wing. I actually would like to see Chilwell here. And yes, in James's absence, which still yet to be confirmed while the press conference takes place later today, I believe Chilwell is the captain. So Chilwell will definitely start, but a left back is what I would like to see, unless you guys tell me otherwise. Again, people,
I
as
don't
we are picking
I
the
don't think
team,
he starts just because he's the captain. I don't think that. I think
okay,
I've
so
heard a lot of people say that. To me, it has no the fact that he's the captain doesn't wield any measure of influence on whether he starts or not. I think more importantly, the manager trusts him more than he trusts Ian Martin, as we've seen, and
in
Mark
terms of the
Correa.
experience, you mean?
Sorry, experience
In
more
terms of the
importantly.
experience.
Yeah, his
Okay.
experience more importantly, and that's something that's very common with new managers. New managers tend to trust the more experienced players because
Yeah.
they're the ones you can say that can easily adapt to his preferred approach to football. It takes some time to start trusting the younger ones or the least. Let me use the term, for lack of a better term, the least experienced players. They trust. We've seen that on the Potter, on the Thomas Tuchel. Every manager does that. Once they're new, you can say they tend to trust the more experienced players better, not necessarily because Sherwell is the captain, but I see a lot of people argue that all the time. The captain has to start, but I think no. I think it has to do with either the player's ability or the player's experience. But you go ahead.
I get that. I get that. But the only difference being, again, just to counter that slightly, I get that totally. Because Chelsea are a far too inexperienced team, generally speaking, and it's basically an entire set of bunch of guys right together.
Mhm.
So I think because Chilwell kind of knows the team more and knows the way that we are supposed to be functioning, and again, be it Poch, communication, and I think Chilwell is one of them. As my assumption that maybe it may not be the reason why he's there, but I think the fact is if we are picking say between Martin and Chilwell, I get the experience part, but apart from the fact that we do not have, like, Enzo is great. He's the leader on the pitch in terms of how he kind of performs himself, himself. But he's not someone who's communicate in English, right? So I think with that, maybe I'm seeing Chilwell again. We'll come to why I'm saying that, because centre back Coachella, I've heard Shreya, I've heard the chat saying, what is your centre back partnership against Bournemouth and going forward? You think, supposing, let's assume Bardeshil is ready, and we saw the training pics, training videos, he seemed fine. But if he's not ready, we still have Colville. Would you go with a Colville Disasi, or you would still start with Thiago Silva with a Colville, or maybe a Bardeshil Thiago Silva played last season? What's your pick?
Um, if Badiashile is ready, we've been hearing that there's a chance he's ready after the international break. If it's ready, and the manager, if it's aware of the fact that he's partnered with Thiago Silva before, and he didn't travel, so I see him probably most likely starting alongside Thiago Silva. If we're going back again, if we're trying to predict what we believe the manager would do, then that's the most sensible thing to do. That would be the most sensible thing to do. Thiago Silva didn't travel, but they surely didn't travel. And if he's ready, because he's partnered with Thiago Silva before, then those two would be the most likely partnership we'd see against Bournemouth. Except if, from what I'm learning, from my observation, it just seemed as if what's his name? Mauricio Pochettino, he trusts Disasi because of his physicality. Because in that defensive lineup, we lack physicality. But you can say Badiashile brings that. He's a tall dude, and
Exactly.
you can't actually bully him off the ball easily. Go ahead.
Also, another point to add is, will it be unfair for us to drop Colville altogether totally? Because as much as basically, as in we were expecting a little bit more, as much as he's not done terribly bad either, the fact is he's played left back, which is out of position. So it'll be only fair for him to at least have a try at centre back while Bardeshil gets 100% match fitness. What I think Mikhail, our brother, was talking in the chat. I think that makes sense to kind of start with Colville, and because Colville has had a couple of games still with Thiago Silva, continue with that, and Disasi and Bardeshil probably will become the long-term partnership once Bardeshil is 100% match fit. Would that be a possible argument?
Can you repeat that again?
So I'm just saying,
What
Colville, it'll
partnership
be
are you
unfair to
asking?
drop him totally.
What two players were you asking me if they?
Basically, I'm saying Colville and Thiago Silva start in between. I know
Mhm.
four at the back, Thiago Silva is a question mark to some people, but I would still say, in terms of the heading ability, we discussed about Disasi. I still feel he's a best header out of the box, and in even in attacking wise, when Badiashile is not 100% match fit. Right? I'm talking about match fitness. So I'd rather start Colville and Silva, because Colville taking him out of the team all of a sudden, without even him trying at centre back in a mainstay Premier League game, is unfair to him, to
The
me, to be
fact the
honest.
fact that you have to consider, did he travel for the England national team assignment?
He did,
Did
but
he
he did not
travel?
start.
He did not start. So maybe again, um, let's see. It all comes down to the manager. If he didn't travel, if they played at home, I didn't follow the England game. If they played at home and they didn't have to travel, maybe he gets to start again. Badiashile will not get a few minutes towards the end of the game. But it depends. Everything comes down to the manager. And right now, you can say we don't have much to work with in terms of us trying to predict what we believe the manager would do. We don't know him
Yeah.
that well. I think
See,
he's
that's the
changed.
thing, right? You
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head, Coachila, brother. Because the fact is, because of the fact that Colvin and Silva have still had minutes between them more, I think that's the reason I would still go ahead and pick Disasi. I feel definitely that Disasi was hurried in terms of him not getting enough training with the team, etc. And I feel that probably he needs to take a step back, especially when now the international break is over. Silva might not play every week, and the fact that Silva did not play for Brazil, and that is why I'm seeing Silva probably starting this. And I'm just going with the chat as well. Uh, that's a good one. Interesting
Yeah,
comment
let
that.
me just quickly say hello to them, Chimera, because some of them you don't know. Chimera, big up to you. I appreciate the joke. I saw you. The Prince is here, and I'm getting to know those people like Ramit from your end, is it Gurav, the scout? I don't know them all, but I'll get to know them
Yeah.
with time as we get to host
No, no,
more
as
and
in they're
more.
great guys. They're
Yeah.
great guys. They know
And
their
Maya
stuff. Absolutely.
Forward, you've been, yeah, I think you're seeking my attention. I'm here. And big up to all of you. Much love to all of you. Go ahead to with what you were saying, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with Pudinya. Somewhere down the line, I have to get that. But Ramit has a great point about if you're picking what Poch is picking, then I agree with this. But now we are picking what we would like to see, to be honest, which we want to see this team play and win against Bournemouth. The win is crucial, guys. Of course, scoring goals, clean sheets are important, but the win is crucial right now because it's the Premier League we're talking about as much as we need to give them time as well. CDM now. Now the thing is, we all spoke about Enzo. We all kind of are in agreement that Enzo needs to play in this space, more or less, because if he plays further on, he does not have the entire pitch in his vision, and sometimes he's not the greatest of the greatest finishers yet, which a Fabregas used to be, and which is something that we seek him to do. So I think Enzo probably is there now. The fact is because Caicedo played in South America, played against Messi, I think he had a proper workout for 2 weeks. Plus the fact that he's a big money signing. Yes, Romeo Lavia is injured, but Gallagher arguably has been Coachila till now. Again, people, you tell me who has been, I know, in a very not too good form in the 4 weeks that we have seen. Who has been the best player for Chelsea? If you really ask me, like apart from say maybe a Sterling, Conor Gallagher, there are not many shouts, are there?
Sorry, well, what position I was off?
I'm,
I
I'm just asking
apologize.
who's your best player in Chelsea in the 4 weeks that you've seen? I know it's not a great conversation because we've not had such great 4 weeks, apart from maybe you just 1 week. But who's the player that you feel that deserves to be in the 11, despite him not eventually being in the 11? Like Gallagher, for me, could take that spot, right? As in he deserves that, right?
I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
He's been you could say the revelation of the season. I didn't expect him to even do that well. I think I agree with you. He's been brilliant, but do I see him? Do I think he has a place in this team? It remains to be seen. But the manager has proven like it looks like the manager trusts him. His work rate has improved in terms of he's no longer in a rush to make decisions like he did last season. You could say his biggest problem last season was not making the right decisions and always in a hurry to make decisions. But now you can say he's improved. He's not perfect yet. I'm still going to say this. It remains to be seen whether he has a place in this team, but we'll find out with time. Do I think he starts there? The 2 6s, I'd say no. I think it will end up being Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo with Caicedo with Enzo given the independence to be more adventurous on the pitch, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I mean, you can use the poll to find out. But whenever you use the poll, the result usually, you can say, becomes the outcome of people's, you can say, not objective.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
just
So
decide.
I'm just
Yeah.
going with the comments. So people who are explaining it in midfield, people, Gaurav is saying Gallagher should start attacking midfield and not Palmer. Maybe Gaurav means that Palmer should needs to start from the right hand side or left hand side could be possible. Gusto was a no brainer right back. Absolutely, Ramit. Disasi is what Gaurav would like to see still in the back line. Mikhail has a point here. My theory on Chilwell is he's not match fit yet, and Poch is protecting his recovery by avoiding playing him at left back. Another season of protecting fullbacks via formation. Mikhail, uh, get your point, but I would love to slightly disagree here. I would say that Chilwell almost it's not a fact about I get the match fitness is why because you're seeing is because Chilwell is playing a little bit, you know, as an underwhelming. Like he's not giving his 100%. It's almost like he's hesitant going in for those tackles. He's hesitant going in for those runs as a forward that you're expected to do. And why that comes in? Because that creeps in because he's not a left winger. If you play him in his natural position, maybe those natural tendencies, come automatically. And that is why I believe that Chilwell is better off playing at a left back. Again, we are picking what we would like to see and what Poch would actually pick because we all know as much as we are discussing this, we can again not be surprised with Colwell playing left back and a Silva and Disasi partnership, right, Coachila? That would actually happen for all we know. But let's try and put a team which we want to see and see beat Bournemouth. But I think I agree. Somewhere online, I think midfield people again would love to know your comments here. But I believe reality is that Caicedo, Enzo will start, even though Enzo and Caicedo both have have had games in South America, and that's how international break brings. And that's where I think that camp position is crucial, and that's where I was coming to Coachila. Now, I still see Gallagher getting a start. he might start in Cam, and maybe that means that because Madueke wasn't 100% convincing, and so was Mudryk against Nottingham Forest, maybe Palmer starts on the right hand side.
If you're going with by this structure, I think Palmer most likely will start as a 10, where you have him right now. Because you could say he is more creative than Gallagher. I think Gallagher
Oh yeah, for
also
sure.
yeah. So also Gallagher, I've seen him play in this particular structure was against Wolves last season. You can say that's one of his best games for Chelsea so far. He played on the right wing position, and if you look back at his days as again during his loan spell at Crystal Palace, he played on the flanks for them, and he was very effective for them throughout the season. Never had he didn't even have you could say a slop in form. He was brilliant throughout the season. So you could say there's a chance if Gallagher doesn't start, I'd be shocked. I
See,
have to
that's
be
the thing,
honest.
because Gallagher, like
Yeah.
I said about Colwill, I don't think Colwill and Gallagher kind of people have done enough to be dropped from the team. That's my whole point. And because Palmer, yes, number 10 is a spot if you want to go and score goals, be creative, which we missed in that number 10, that link up with Nicholas Jackson. But the reality is that, because of the fact that that link up, he's not had many training sessions, etc. I think the manager might actually be open to kind of place him starting from the wide and then drifting to central positions with maybe
Yeah, possibly.
Gusto being a little bit
It's
wider.
always fluid.
Correct, exactly, and that's
And here's
the
the
pod
thing.
system.
Here's the thing. Just quickly, sorry for cutting you off. If the manager again starts using a predominantly a 4-2-3-1 structure, Gallagher has a place in this team. In the up again, it's the right wing area. But in the center, in the 2-6s area, that's where I don't think there's no space for him really, if we're being honest, given if you're comparing his ability to those he'd be vying for places in that area. Yeah. I don't think he has a space in the central area here. If anything, he has again. I think the manager probably wouldn't mind playing him in the right wing position. And that's just my opinion. But
Oh, that's a call. Yeah, why not? Because he's played there.
yeah, and that's where he did well for that's you can say that's the area that position was where he did well for Crystal Palace. And if you remember, I mentioned throughout the season he didn't falter. He had a brilliant season for them all through. It wasn't like he was again. Some games he was brilliant, some games he was poor. He was brilliant throughout the season, and that's because he needs space to be effective. He needs space to be that effective. I
See,
get it.
that's
He's
my whole
going.
point.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you again, but Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez both have had games in South America. So for me,
The travel you're pointing.
yeah, it's massive, and not just that, they were arguably the one of or two of the best players. I know, of course, Kendry Pies is something that we would love to speak about, but I think Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo have had actually intense games. Is what I mean. It's just not the travel, also intense games. I think Gallagher almost might start, and then you might have basically playing a three-man midfield, play a proper 4-3-3 with Palmer coming on the right-hand side. I don't know. A lot of permutation combination. Chanju Chamson, a great name. Ankit, what's your thoughts on Mudryk? Do you see him succeed? Chanju, we have discussed about that in the beginning part of the stream, but I'm coming to that. I'm coming to the wing as well. People in the house, Sterling right wing forward is what Gaurav is saying. Do you believe, like we discussed, that Mudryk should have started against Liverpool the start of the season? He had a good preseason compared to, say what he had the previous season. I think probably it can be a good start for him. Right now, Coachila, we are at a position where Madueke, yes, he had a good cup game, but apart from that, you can still argue his work in progress. Um, Coming to the bench suits him more, if I'm being really honest about it. But do you see Mudryk should be given that confidence? And do you see that Mudryk and Sterling on the wing, if you're playing Palmer at 10, that is? If not, Palmer himself will be on the wing. But what do you see should happen if you are the coach?
I will start Mudryk.
Yeah.
I'll start Mudryk. Maybe I
agree.
differ because as I've mentioned before, he's a player I knew even before we started considering signing him. And
Exactly.
he's a good player. And I'm going to repeat myself again. I don't think we've handled his start to life at Chelsea very well. Managers didn't help Matters. I get it. He's low on confidence right now, but the managers we've had didn't help. Potter didn't help. Potter, when we expected him to start him, he didn't. Lampard, when he came in as the interim manager, when we expected him to start Mudryk, he did not. Even Mauricio Pochettino hasn't helped. That's the way you handle players. And I've heard 1,000 people tell me that Pochettino is a brilliant manager. But when that preseason game when when he scored that goal with that good combination play with Nicholas Jackson, that's the key to you giving him more game time. I get it, all the blah, blah, blah out there. Yeah, he will come good. He's a good player. He needs time. No, but he's showing you what he's capable of doing. Follow it up by giving him more game time, especially against Liverpool. He should have started that game. And believe me, I can argue to tomorrow. I get it. Some people will say, yeah, we're not too sure. I can argue to tomorrow that had he started, probably would have scored more goals, in my opinion. But go ahead. I'll be right back in a minute. Let me take care of something quickly.
Zed says right wing Sterling, left wing Mudryk, and Lavia and Caicedo are double pivot. Lavia is out, like the United Road has just confirmed. By the way, talking about the United Road people, big shout out to United 58 again, helped us with the background as well. And of course, here Coachila, Shrey, big up to them. People, again, Almighty Blues, all the links are below if you want to check it out. Give that like button a hit, because the Blue Alliance is for you people, by you people, and it's the Blue family. But even opposition fans will be great to hear your opinion, how we are discussing about tactics. But somewhere down the line, I think Enzo with Caicedo is a big question for everyone. 1 minute motivation asks, how many points are you expecting from CFC for those tough fixtures? Right now, I'll take in the next 4 fixtures. If I'm getting anywhere close to 8 points, I'm taking it 1 minute motivation. If I'm being very honest about it, Chelsea have too many raw talent, bro. What do you think this team can? How do you think this team can gel up quickly? Well, the more games they have together, that's one of the reasons why Pochettino is not bringing on the subs early. One of the criticisms that the fan base is having, but I believe he actually wants this team to play together as much as possible. That's where the chemistry will come, especially the creative players. People like Cole Palmer, right? People like Madueke, people like Sterling, Mudryk, Nicholas Jackson. They need to play more minutes together. Even the fullbacks who turn into wing backs at times, in the Poch dynamic system, especially Chilwell, the Colwills, the Gustos of the world, they need to get more time. I think we need to give them time. But again, results are important for the timing as well. We need to stop coddling players. 1 goal in preseason doesn't change Mudryk's pathetic performance. No, Rohan, but I get where you're saying. We're not discussing about the number of goals. Mudryk was actually looking more confident. And Mudryk was actually looking like getting into better spaces. He was running with the ball. He was running without the ball. He was having 1-2s with Nicholas Jackson and Carney. So that tells me that is what you expect from Mudryk. Coachila, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah, you're very correct. I think we're not helping him. We're really not helping him.
Exactly. So we need to build that confidence, not take that confidence off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Twitter said Mudryk is a 22-year-old who plays like a 15-year-old. I don't think that's the case. In my opinion, I honestly do not think that's the case. But that's just me. Go ahead. Sorry for cutting you off there.
No. See, I agree with Rohan, with Chimera, that the fact is he's raw. I'm not going to sit here and claim that we've got an Eden Hazard on the books. No, that is a potential, possibly at best, right? But the reality is, without giving him time on the pitch, and that if he's getting 15-20 brief spells, 15-20 minutes brief spells, that is basically reducing his chances to prove himself. Yes, if he starts a couple of back-to-back games, plays 70 minutes in each game, and then he screws it up, I can get why people are trolling him. But right now, how many starts has he got for Chelsea? That's itself is questionable. So sometimes you remember Daniel Sturridge, people. Daniel Sturridge, yes, a very injury-prone player, someone who came from Manchester City youth, came to Chelsea. He was part of the Champions League winning squad of 2012. If you remember, Daniel Sturridge, that went to Liverpool before his injury, he was world-class, you would say, for a couple of seasons. The criticism was at Chelsea was that he didn't get enough starts because we had that squad. And that time you can argue, fine, it was difficult. Even a Mo Salah, for instance, right? Those people did not get enough starts. But now we have the ability to start Mudryk. I don't think there's a pressure of not starting Mudryk. And I think that is where I think we need to blood him in. And that's where I think the others need to take more responsibility in terms of numbers. People like the Sterlings, the Nicholas Jacksons, even as much as it's unfair on him, even he's very young, coming from a different league. But Nicholas Jackson at least has goals under him just a couple of months ago from Villarreal. So he's more confident. Even in Enzo Fernandez, who just scored in midweek. Just saying, Mudryk is raw, needs time on loan in Italy so he can sign for Liverpool in 2 seasons. Mykhailo, man, come on. But that's how it is. But again,
I don't think here's the thing, if at any time the club decides that he goes out on loan, which means he ends up leaving. But I think Mudryk
yeah.
has a future. Mudryk has a future at Chelsea, and I don't see him going anywhere right now. I think he will come good, but we need to show him we can trust him.
See that the trust is something like it is two ways, right? It's not one way. So again, there are issues about him when it comes to workout and other things. And I know the first touch, which has definitely become a very popular reel or unpopular for Chelsea fans. But the reality is that if we don't try Mudryk, if we don't try Martson, then why have we kept him? That's my whole point. When we don't have an Nkunku, even then you do not start a Martson or a Mudryk and you start Chilwell at left wing. Doesn't add up. Simply doesn't add up for me, especially against Bournemouth when we need 3 points. A Bournemouth which has got 2 points in 4 games, with all due respect. That's how it is, right? And yeah, Gaurav, please, yeah, I was going to highlight this.
Yeah. Let me
Please,
address this if you don't mind. The question is,
please.
Coachila, what's your view on Nicholas missing good chances of scoring versus Nottingham Forest? That wasn't the first time. He missed one against Liverpool. He missed, again, you can say in all the games he started, he's missed a few chances here and there. But here's the thing. Let me put a positive spin to that whole situation. He's been missing chances, but more importantly, he's been getting in good plays. Again, you can say he's been making the right decisions, making the right runs, making, you can say, decisive runs, getting in good positions. But what he hasn't done is put away the chances, which means that will come too. That will happen. It's a process also. He's a new member of the team. He hasn't, how long? Not even up to 6 months, not even up to 5 months. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there's still time. And remember, we have you can say practically an entirely new team. So I'm not concerned. I know the signs are there. If he was missing those chances, let's say if he isn't making those runs that we've talked about, and whenever he gets at the end of those chances and he just, you can say, just balloons them or misses them, then we have a problem. But the good thing is that he's making the correct runs. He's an intelligent player. His work rate is excellent. The goals will come. And we've seen strikers who struggle like that. And once they, you can say, score a few, the floodgate will open. So I'm not concerned, honestly. I am confident that he will come good.
Yeah, Chimera is like, let's say Mudryk becomes a starter on the wing. How long are you giving him realistically before you say this guy isn't the answer? But at least start him, right? As in first starters for first. But yeah, I think there has to be a case of us giving him that one window. When I say one window, it's between now and the next international break, for example, where he actually starts like about 70 to 80% of the games, and then probably looking very, very raw. Then I can totally get it. But I get that manager looks at him at training. But again, a lot of people did not do well at training, right? As I'm just saying, Coachila. But I think there's a question for you as well. Would you like to, reply to this?
That is one crazy friend of mine there, JC. Big up, Coachila. How are you? Is this some new format you are trying? I don't see many tappings. I don't know if you understand what we mean by tapping. Tapping is when somebody's saying something and you take it from them and complete it. We do a lot of that during the Blue Money show. So here's the thing. This is a multi-platform show. It's called the Blue Alliance. We're still going through, you can say, considering too many graphics. We have a couple of options for the logo and the backgrounds and all of that. But the Blue Alliance is, you can say, a multi-platform show where we stream simultaneously on multiple channels. You can follow it again. And also, it's something designed to educate you and also learn from you. It's not just about the panelists. It's something designed that you can say, you go ahead, you take it from me, Ankit, you explain. Because my mind is
No,
in
as
two
in
places right now.
see, basically, the Blue Alliance is what? Simple. The name is self-explanatory. Should be that. Basically, it's a set of blue brothers and sisters coming together, kind of speaking about what we love the best, and that's about the blues, right? And simple as that. And of course, here we're starting with content creators, Coachila, myself, at Almighty Blues, Shrey. He joined us today. Hopefully, we'll have others joining as well. Of course, if people are interested, great, they can contact us, and we can definitely have a word with them. The idea is about getting a continuity, and of course, getting different points of view. And again, it's a global kind of a collaboration. No matter what, it's a fan channel for all to see. Always both are channels, and we believe that is something that will continue. Mikhail is like, unfortunately, the visions and procurement hit a wall of Coachila's pragmatism for survival in EPL. Result equals exodus of player with potential alone. Mikhail, see, everyone is experimenting right now. To be honest, it's a season of experimentation. But I hear you as well. Phil, big up to you as well. 100% here. But uh, coming back to the situation about the sponsors, Coachella, Coachella, where are we at? I believe there was a case that we'll have the sponsor this weekend. I know there's a new kid, but are we having a sponsor?
Um, in, I'm not too sure. Just
Still
one
work in
second. Just
progress, looks like.
can you just 1 second? Can you stop? I'm sorry. Apologies, people. Sorry for again.
No problem, no problem. I will say I'll take a couple of comments. I will say it again.
Yeah,
If Poch
apologies,
plays,
people. It's been I'm everywhere today because I'm at home with my 2-year-old and the other one 4. You can't leave them alone. Every now and then they just rush into the office. I can promise you, we will handle that. It will not be like that for subsequent shows. Unfortunately, I'm at home today. I can just go ahead. I'll be back in a minute or
sure,
two.
sure. Okay, I'll just take a couple of comments, guys. I will say it again. If Poch plays Chilwell Sunday left wing and 3 at the back formation, we are losing. Again, that's the reason we put up a formation. I think you just joined late. Again, people are joining in late. I would request you all to hit that like button. Certainly, every like helps the algorithm. Again, we are multiple of us, on the panel. So hopefully, you can give us a follow as well. The idea is about you don't miss any of the shows in the future, and hopefully, you can obviously add your inputs as well. We would love that, as well as the Blue Alliance kind of grows week by week with all your help. But here is the lineup that we, along with the chat as well as the panel, have picked. This is something that will be good enough to beat Bournemouth. Only possibility that we see in a change is maybe because two of them in central defensive midfielders, Enzo and Caicedo, played in South America, had intense games. Maybe just Poch has a thought about starting Gallagher there because of how good Gallagher has been, surprisingly, which is great. Hope he continues. And Palmer might be starting on the wing with Sterling on the left wing. So that little bit of shuffle is possible. If Chilwell continues at left wing, even I will have an issue, to be honest, but it is what it is right now. Mikhail like twice, one on both channels is what I'm assuming. Mikhail, big up to you as always. But
Sorry,
I think, yeah.
was I answering the question before I was interrupted? Was I?
No, I think I just answered that. No problem. I think we're just looking at basically that formation, 3 at the back, 4 versus, and I just explained that right away. But Coachella, like one of the things that we need to know, that why do we suck when it comes to crosses, defending crosses? Again, it's a work in progress defensively, and that's one more reason, because Chilwell is actually not too bad a header of the ball. I actually want that to be done, and I think Bournemouth, that's the best way to score. Let's be real. They play a 4-2-3-1 as well. And the best way would be, because we have a stronger midfield, I can see them going wide. So what are you expecting? How the game will pan out, because it's an away game at the end of the day?
It's going to be very difficult. You can say West Ham. They've thought every you can say every mid-table team or bottom-table team. This is how you play against Chelsea. Just suck it all up and hit them on a break. You get a chance, and it's worked. And on 2 occasions right now, I think they're going to defend deep. They would defend deep. We will. We don't need scientists to tell us that. Yeah, they would dominate possession. The question is, we just have to be clinical. I think we get a lot of chances, but we have to put away the chances and score as soon as possible, because the truth remains, as the game progresses, we get desperate. If the game again progresses, like let's say 50th to 60th minute, if we don't score, we get desperate, because we have very young players you could say who are not used to dealing with such situation. Patience isn't their thing. The moment the goals don't come, they get desperate. Unlike experienced players, even if the goals don't come to the 70th, 80th minute, they still be patient and you can be pushing. But I want us to score as soon as possible. The truth remains that we defend deep, and that's where, here's the thing. I think Pochettino might well still stick with the back 3. I know he argues that it's actually not a back 3.
You mean play with 3 centre backs basically?
3 centre backs. You can say 5 defenders in total. plus 2 6s that you can say 7 defensive-minded players. Here's the thing: what I would like us to do, I'd like to see the likes of Madueke, not the Madueke, and also Palmer start. They're more effective against teams that defend deep. Madueke is a better dribbler than Raheem Sterling is. Raheem Sterling, I get it, he's more experienced and all that, but I don't think he'd be effective. He's shown that he's not effective against teams that defend deep. Not every time that he sees that those spaces that he exploits with that, you can say those runs that he's made on 2 occasions.
I have one quick counter, Coachila, if I may. Madueke, the only, I would say, the criticism, I know it's unfair, he's still very young, but I think he's not a shot taker, right? As in, we lack shot takers, right? And compared to Sterling, even a Mudryk for that matter, right? They still take shots. Don't you think so? That is something that maybe him coming off a sub is better, because he'll bring something different, because we need to start with players who actually not just take people on but also take shots, because I believe he's a bit too hesitant of taking shots. Okay, while Coachila comes back,
I would go. I'm so sorry about. I call it breaking transmission, or me going off and on. Unfortunately, I have to, otherwise they're going to hurt themselves. Here's the thing. I think I'm going to go with Mykhailo's argument here, or suggestion here. Sterling on the left wing, just because I'm not too sure how fit Mudryk is right now. He had to. Didn't he travel? Did he travel, or did he play? Did they play in England? I can't quite remember.
Mudryk was definitely there. Mudryk was part of it. He came on as a substitute, if I remember, in the day of yesterday's match.
Where was the game played?
It was in Europe. I'm not sure exactly where, but
you're not sure whether he again. I'm okay. Let's just move on from it. Here's the thing. I think probably most likely, if we're trying to predict the lineup, I think most likely Raheem Sterling starts, and either Madueke or Raheem Sterling starts, then either Madueke or Benchy. Well, again, with the manager going with the back 3 structure, which I think he most likely would.
This is the likely one we are talking now. We have already done what we want, but this is likely. I hear you.
Yeah, unfortunately, but if we're going with a 4 at the back structure, I think Palmer gets a chance.
Okay, it was in Hamburg, I believe. Ukraine played their games in Hamburg. That's what it is.
Okay.
Germany.
Okay. In Germany, so probably not much of a travel, right? If you ask me, so it's hard to tell who started and who wouldn't start. But I go with Mykhail's suggestion. Probably that's most likely what the manager would do. Will Mudryk start? I'm not too sure, but Raheem Sterling most definitely.
For sure. So, guys, we have done what we want to see and what will likely happen in terms of the 11. And of course, you guys have said in the chat. And of course, the tactics, what Bournemouth play. Of course, they have an ex-player as well. Remember, sad that Tyler Adams is there injured. Otherwise, that would have been a good, reason for him to come on the pitch because of what happened with him in Lavia. But coming to the predictions, guys, are we confident of getting an away win after an international break with so many players out for international duty? To be very honest, I am not. But I can see a scrappy win for us, Coachila. The fact that if we get that clean sheet going, I think we can scrape a goal. Bournemouth, not the best team right now on form. Yes, they do have some creative players in midfield. I think Billing is there. There is, of course, Solanke to score goals. But I can see them at best getting a scrappy goal, which I believe will be better off this time, considering that Thiago Silva is fresh. What is your score predictions?
I don't trust this team well enough to be able to say. You can say to predict score lines. Honestly, I have to be honest with you. I haven't done that. I didn't do that for the past 4 games, and I'm not going to do it in this one until I get to understand. I don't know. You can say I don't trust this team that much.
Yeah.
Do I think we have we have a bad team? I'd say no. Do I think we have a bad manager? I'd say no. But I don't trust them that much. They're unpredictable. You don't know what you can say. What team shows up? What Chelsea team shows that will show up against Bournemouth? So I need time. Unfortunately, I used to. You can say be confident enough to say I think the outcome of this particular game would be this or that. I think it will score. I think they will score from set piece.
Wow.
In my opinion, but I can't go to the extent of telling you who wins.
Yeah, I think it'll be a scrappier game because it's after the international break. The flow will be missing, but I hope I'm proven wrong, and I hope my Chelsea proves us wrong. Our Chelsea proves us wrong. But Amrit, great to see you as well. Again, JC, Pudin, Gaurav, Devesh, Benjamin, great to see you guys. Everyone, Mikhail, of course, everyone here, whoever's here, whoever's not
And
hit the like button.
Matthew Lee Benjamin, I see you there. Like the video, people. Keep dropping the likes on the people on the
Yes.
video. And apologies for my, you could say, scrappy or not stable contribution to the show today. I had
Ah, no,
to.
it's good enough, man. Don't
Again,
nothing to worry.
I just have to be paying attention to my voice to show they're
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. You know
Unfortunately, I
what?
can assure you.
Let's end on a good note, guys. I know that we have not been so happy the last couple of weeks as Chelsea fans, especially the international break. It kind of left us with bad memories of Nottingham Forest, but it's still work in progress. And I think one thing that we can definitely take inspiration from is this one. As in, it's great news. Five Blues nominated for FIFA awards. I know somewhere online we don't believe in awards, it shouldn't, but this is a great inspiration. The women's team, as in the Chelsea women, hats off, hats off. If the men's team again can come up to their level, great, right, Coachila? I think that's something that again, ironically, was it yesterday that we got all those awards being distributed to Jorginho, Thomas Tuchel, Edward Mendy. You know,
Mhm.
those days we need it, but we need to be a little bit patient, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have to celebrate that. Unfortunately, some people don't see it. You can say don't value it as much as you. I know you do, as much as I do. But we have to. You can say even last season they were brilliant. The women's team were brilliant. They did well. They went as far as did they get to the final again? The Champions League, Women's Champions League final? Did they?
Uh, I think no, we were eliminated before that, but I think we were in the latter
But
stages
they
for
did
sure,
well
100%.
overall.
Yeah, as in more so in England, I think we dominate, right? Generally, that's the
They won
first
a
thing.
double too. They won a double last year,
Exactly.
didn't
So
they?
in England, we
Yeah.
dominate, and I think that's the start of things. And hopefully, in Europe, they can be that example that one needs. Of course, we all remember that Champions League year of ours as well that we won just a couple of years ago. And I remember that was a year the Blue Alliance. Somewhere on the line, we started there again. Coachila here. I can see Mikhail there, Shrey, and hopefully, we'll have many more people join in. But yes, everyone, whoever's not hit that like button, consider hitting that like button because every like builds this Blue Alliance to the next level. And of course, everyone is welcome no matter what, so hit us. You can contact us in the description below, you can find the links. But big up to everyone joining. Right now we got to be with the team, but at the same time, the players in blue, we better pull our socks for sure. I think on that note, we would like to end for now, but always keep the blue flag flying high. Up the Charles, Coachila, any last words? Go for it.
Much love to all of you. See you guys next week. I appreciate you all finding time to join. Bye.
To you, up the Charles.